All right. What's going on, everyone? How are you? We are here on a new episode of the Juan Solo Show with your host, me, Juan D. Klauser, on episode 156. What's going on? How are you? And we're in this beautiful hub right now. Beautiful. So a little sad today. It's the first Sunday without football. For most people, it's just a normal Sunday, nothing different. But for someone like me, whose whole life and who's I'm just someone who has based their whole personality around football. Not really, but I do very much enjoy it. Just seeing grown men, 300 pounds, just slamming into each other is one of those greatest things in the world. I don't know why, but it is. Seeing a ball get thrown around, seeing them dance around. Seeing these grown men wearing tights. There's just nothing. There is just absolutely nothing better than that. Last Sunday, Chiefs won. I did the podcast. Last podcast I did a couple hours before it, so I didn't really talk much about it. Well, I talked about Eric Bieniemy, which still didn't get a job. He got he got a offensive coordinating position over at the Commanders. Apparently, the whole thing was the Chiefs offered him, and they wanted him to stay, but the thing is, for the Commanders, he's going to have more of the say of the offense. He's basically he's a head coach without being a head coach, because he's black, and they're not going to give him a head coaching job until he somehow proves again in another way that he is the guy. I don't know how and why, because we talked about last week. There's been a bunch. If he was a white guy, he would have gotten 10 jobs by now, gotten fired by 2 of them, and then he would have been on his 6th job. It's just how it would have been but he's not, and so it's just what it is. What it is. It's just it's what people of color have to do to, be in the fucking thing of football. The cool thing though is, on a brighter note, if you know Brian Flores is from Honduras. I am from Honduras, and he was offered, which was something I learned this week. He was offered the head coaching job for the Cardinals, but he turned it down because it's a fucking shit show there. Which is it's great, and it sucks too because he's black. He's Afro-Latino, and so what? But to America, he's black. And the thing that's scary is that as a black man in the NFL, if you turn down a head coaching job, it might be the only chance you ever get of getting another head coaching job or an opportunity at being a head coaching job. The offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, that's what happened with him this past season. Last year, he got offered, I want to say it was the Detroit head coaching job, and he turned it down. And then he didn't have that good of a year this year, and nobody wanted to hire him, and he got fired as the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, which is, and it's so funny because he was the guy who was calling all the plays the year they won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. So it's like, and they blew them out. They blew the Chiefs out in that game. So it's just funny how it works, where the goalpost moves all the time. But it never moves all the time. It never moves for the fucking white guys. Like Jack Del Rio, motherfucker gets a job all the time. Nothing's wrong with him. He's a good guy, kind of racist. But, something like that. There's the goalposts always moves for the black guys, but it never moves for the white guys. Except the guy from Detroit, the Carwell. That motherfucker he was the only guy that had a winning season in Detroit, and they fired him. They fired his ass, and then he took him to the playoffs, and they fired him. That's when they had Stafford and Megatron. Was it Johnson? God, he would have been so good, but he said fuck this sport because he had to play for Detroit. God, if you want to feel bad for someone, feel bad for that man. That man had to play for Detroit, and he was like a Jerry Rice of our generation. Would that be the best comparison? I would say Jerry Rice in the sense of like just overall skills and notoriety of what he would have been. Like Jerry Rice is probably known as like one of the top wide receivers. Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens, but Terrell Owens is more known for like the dipshit things he did than his talents. Even though he finally got into Canton. Oh, God, isn't it funny every year that you always hear that he's going to try to come back and play for a team for 6 games? It's like, you know what? As an organization, I get it. Oh man, that's a hard pill to swallow, to like have to eat a good, 5% of your cap for a guy who's only played 6 games or something like that. No buenos. But yeah, like I said, I hope you guys are doing well, doing better than I am. So funny. So I am always trying to get better as a human. I'm trying to mature. As a man, it's hard for us because we do it really slow. And no matter what we do, it's really easy for us to get our heads shoved back up our asshole. So I'm doing great, not really not making much fuss, not getting angry about shit. And I was heading to work, and I park in the back parking lot of our job, and that's usually where the trucks come in for like drop offs. But the thing is, like, usually a lot of trucks, they have to drive in backwards. So it's like I would say it's like 50 yards, but almost at a half U. I guess that's what a half U is almost. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. The U is like that. Instead of like this completely, it's just like half. It's like a curve. I guess that's what I should call it. It's a curve. John, you're just not that good at this. Anyway, and so they had to do that. But where they eventually finally park, there's enough space where like someone can just drive up and park in one of the parking spots. And that's what I was trying to do. I was driving up, and this fucking semi just kept on coming. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I turned, because we have a little alleyway, and there's like a one parking spot in the alley, which is really no big deal. It's really not that big of a deal. But I was like, this motherfucker. And I just gave him the middle finger, and I was like, fuck you. And 2 guys in a semi. It's like, I'm 34 years old. I'm flipping 2 guys off in a fucking semi at my job. It's like, why am I, like, what the fuck are you doing, Juan? I've thought about this all week, so that's where I am in my life. Getting there, like, it's like with anything, some people are on diets and they're doing great, and then they just have a massive, like, 2 fucking awful cheat meals, and then they're just like spiraling a little bit. Then they have a donut, then they, drink 2 sodas, and it's kind of like that, but instead of like eating fat food, I'm giving people the finger. You hear that? Lola just barked. So yeah, she was like, yeah, that's damn right, John. You give him the fucking finger. Yep, she's barking again. There she is. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I hope you guys are doing a lot better than I. What else? Brand. Oh. Oh yeah, this is funny. So thanks a lot. I remember. So Valentine's Day was this past week. It's so funny thinking, like, whenever I think of Valentine's Day, I always think of the band Bread. And if you've never heard of band Bread, you're better off at that. It's just not. There's no need for you to know Bread. I don't understand how Bread even became a popular band. But what's so funny is, like, looking back on it, I'm just like, I can't believe I used to try to get like black girls to listen to Bread. It's like John, like, this is the reason why you're so alone all the time. It's like, why would you ever do that? Why would you do that to white people? Like, why would let alone do it to like someone else of color and have them listen to Bread? Because it's an awful band. It's just like, it's like Kansas. It's like was it what is it? CRS? With Stone, like Clear River Rival Buckethead. I don't know what that woof. But it's just ugh. I just think about that. I think about that all the time. Whenever Valentine's Day comes around, I'm like, Remember how you used to like force people to listen to the worst type of music, and now I don't listen to music at all because I just realized I don't. It's not good. What I listened to was not good, and then now I'm like, a lot of this shit is not good too. So I'm just not going to listen to music at all. So this is where, well, that little segment right there died real quick. So I have a video of the week. We're about 10 minutes into this podcast now, so I should probably do the video of the week. So here we go.
There'll be times when I'm working the dish pit at work and I let a fart out. It happens, but I don't want none of the waitresses or what have you to smell it because it's just not polite, So while I'm washing dishes, I'll turn around and, I'll sniff that fart up as quickly as possible so none of the waitresses have to smell it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want the servers or the cooks to smell that, so...
Welcome to The John Show with your hosts, John Doogie Clouser.
All right. So what's so interesting about this video is that I always pay attention to what you should do is with every video. It's almost what's so funny about this video is it's very similar to the background to my video in the sense of how there's light and then there's dark. See, dark, light. But unlike him, mine was intentionally made like that. His was just made with no light, and it's framed above instead of framed with, but I can also say the same thing. My camera's framed just a little bit above eye level, so you could say the same thing about mine too. So what's so interesting though, like I told you about is that there's a vacuum cleaner. Is it the background stuff? You would think that you would you're setting up a camera. You think you have something to say. I set up a camera. I don't have anything to say, but at least I put up some lights. I try to make the background look decent. It's busy as fuck, and I'll give you that. But the thing is, it's just you just try. You just try. But this is awful. There's a vacuum cleaner, which is, I guess, good because that means he cleans his floor. The floor is clean. And King Cobra has manners. I have no idea who this King Cobra guy is. So apparently, I guess he's good on TikTok because he came across my radar a couple days ago because there's another video that just came out with him talking about his standards in women. He's like, I don't want to date anyone that's younger than 20, which is at least honorable. Is that the right word? Honorable in that sense. But it's so funny. It's because there's always a certain type of person, man and woman, who likes to list out a list of standards. We all have standards. That's true. We all have a certain thing that we like, we don't like, what we're willing to accept, what we're not willing to accept. But it's the ones that are willing to just viciously verbalize what they like or what they don't like. These are my standards. And then you realize bro, you don't do any of this. It's I understand that there's things a man, when a man takes a woman out, he should pay for the most part, then once you guys get into a cordial relationship in the sense of you guys have a mutual like rapport, then you guys can banter back and forth like who's going to pay for this, does this, like, because at that point it's not a just being courteous. It's in the sense of like now like there's a understanding of each other as human beings, and so it's a little different. Same thing with friends. Like when you first meet, when you first meet someone, you kind of like are kind of like strict and rigid with it. Like you're like, like I'll pay for my thing, you pay for your thing. And then eventually, like months into it, like, like I'll get this meal, like you'll get the next meal, that kind of thing happens next, But yeah, it's always interesting the women who are like, like I want a man who is going to pay for this, and this. And granted, like I can only say that in my sense because but like I think it'd be weird if a man was like, I want a woman to pay for this, and this. I expect a woman to like cook clean and not work. Like I don't care. Like work if you want to work. I would assume you would want to work because you'd want to have like that sense of pride of being able to actually work. But some people aren't like that. Some people don't care. They really don't care. They are, which is interesting. The people who just don't have this sense of like seeing outside thyself, which I think we all do, but the ones that are just like, they just don't see it. They just don't do it. And you're just like, what in the fuck? Like, how do you not see what you're doing? And how do you not see that how selfish you are as a human being? Like, you should be kind of grossed out by it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, that was the video this week, guys. What else do I have on my list? I actually had a lot of stuff. Oh God, yeah, this is an interesting one. So I had a coworker this week. This is the reason another tale of why I absolutely hate my fucking job. Let me tell you this. So I had a coworker this week come up to me. He's like, "Hey, Brady." He's like, "Do you ever watch?" He's like, "Do you listen to this certain podcast?" I'm like, "I've listened to it." He's like, "They had this porn star on," and I'm like, "That's cool." He's like, "Yeah," and I was listening to like her talk about and telling these stories, and like I think it's like fascinating. Like I was going to go to the porn expo this year, but it didn't line up in my schedule, and I'm like, that's interesting. He's like, and it's always funny because like always whenever a guy says this, he says something like that, he's then like, "Oh, I'm not going there to be perverted." It's like, you're going there to be perverted then. Like, you don't say that and then quickly have to like give this like also this like clarification of like, I'm not like the other guys. I'm not going there to get their autographs, to get these porn stars autographs. I'm going there just to like see it. It's like, I'm like, well, there's no reason why, unless you're like doing a podcast with these porn stars, or unless you're like filming a documentary about these porn stars, there's really no reason to ever go to one of these fucking expos unless you're one of these guys who are trying to cop a feel on a porn star. I just, because I'm certain, and I'm just saying, I'm sure there's a certain kind of man who goes to one of these things. You don't see just nice guys. And I'm not saying there isn't, but I'm sure they're exactly the same type of guy who just wears the overalls and the hoodie and goes to the fucking thing. Because I'm guaranteed there's a lot of guys in hoodies and overalls, and probably a lot of the guy in the fucking video that I just showed you. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of men like that. Those are the type of guys. And that's the kind of guy who told me that he's like, yeah, like I would have gone to an expo. I'm like, I just think there's a lot of things that you can just kind of keep to yourself. But I'm not shocked by this. You know why I'm not shocked by this? Because I swear to God, at my gym, I have and this is not against anybody who's gay. This is about this is for the thirsty man out there. Because women, I understand now. I get it. I get some of the most gayest shit done to me at the gym. I will have guys come up. I'll be changing. I'll be like going from my workout clothes to like going and putting on sweats to go sit in the sauna. And a guy will just get out of the shower, and I'll just be right here and you'll be right there. And like, just imagine if I had like a towel on and I just like open it up like this and I just start drying myself off right in the middle of everything. But I'm the only guy that can see you. I'm the only person that can see you. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just fucking just cleaning myself, drying myself off, like rubbing my cock. Like, you'd be like, what in the fuck are you doing, Juan? That's exactly what you're doing. And that is exactly what gets done to me at my gym all the time. It is just like one after the other. And the thing is, like, they do a test. They do a test to see, like, because I'm just gonna be like, oh God, that's what I do. I'm just like, okay, there's another one, and they're like, and I'm like, is he going for his towel? And he is, and now he is full eagle, showing me his cock, and I'm just good fucking Jesus. It's like, it just has to be written on me somewhere. It's like, this guy will just fucking let you, he will just let him show your cock, like, and then he's going to talk about it on a podcast. But just know that this man will let you just fucking full-blown explode yourself. Explode yourself. That's probably one they want to do. They want to explode themselves on me. And then but the consequence of doing that is like, he will talk about it on a podcast, because there's the guy who has in the sauna, there's another guy who sits in the sauna and he wears the same shorts. He hasn't been there in a long time. And then his goddamn fucking goat nuts come out of the hole in his shorts, and he just walks around in the sauna, because the sauna is only man sauna, which is what's surprisingly about that is that there's not more nudity. There's only one old white guy who gets nude in the sauna. Everyone else is usually fully clothed, or at least have just skins on. So, but yeah, the goat nuts, and then the guy who always shows me his cock when he opens up his towel. But he opens up it's not like his locker's right next to mine. I would understand his locker's right here. No, his locker is like several like aisles down. But what he likes to do is he'll come out of the shower area, and he'll just full eagle and just cock in air, just letting it flap, just like, good God. And the thing is, like, it'd be one thing if like the man body was built like a woman's body. A woman's body's built like a Ferrari. It's sleek, it's silky, it's smooth. It's like, it's beautiful to look at, like how like a nice sports car is. Every woman's body is like that. And then you see a man, and we look like a fucking Jeep that just got done just rummaging in the fucking mud. It's just gross. Like, even the best male body, even a six-pack and stuff like that, it's like, but there's just a point where like our bodies are not meant to be looked at like that. Our bodies are just to perform like a fucking Jeep, not not to be slick and smooth looking like a nice sports car. And what I'm saying is, stop showing me your fucking cock. It's fucking weird, because I don't do that. It's just so fucking funny though. It's just like, oh well, here's another story. Here's another fucking goat nuts, or another fucking cock and balls I'm seeing. But the thing is, like, it's never anything like incredibly gross. Every once in a while there might be a lifting of the leg, but that's like, whereas like I've had. When I was out in Los Angeles, I had this guy we called him Boston Rob, and he used to just pull his cock out all the time and just stroke it in the sauna. It's always the sauna. I think it's because of the heat. It's the heat and all the blood that gets, starts going to all the extremities of the body. It's probably what it is. But yeah. Oh, I have tons of fucking like dick and ball stories in the sauna. Things that make you go woof, right? Just part of life. It's just what happens. It's just, you guys want to see, like, I've had my stopwatch going for that long. So, that's the thing too. That's a timer. What else do I have to talk about, guys? What else? It's always funny. So I have little sayings, because I work at a job. My job's from hell, and I just I have little things that kind of like give me through, thank you, thank you, partner. What's my big one? Thank you, partner. And it's always funny. Everyone usually just kind of laughs because no one says partner. Like, and this is funny looking at me to see a guy like me who'd be like, like, oh, thanks, partner. Like, I think it's probably a very weird thing it's a funny juxtaposition, right? And but there's always funny is there's always the one white person who's always like, are you making fun of me? I'm like, what? Like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? Am I making fun of you? I don't fucking know you. Why would I make fun of you? If I'm going to make fun of you, I'll make fun of your overalls. I'm not going to make fun of you because you say, hey, y'all. I don't give a shit about that. If anything, I think it's a little bit more unique than saying, hey, talking like a vocal fry, like, I was just trying to say. Like, which one would you rather have, the vocal fry, or would you rather have, what's up, partner? Like, I'd rather have the what's up, partner. But it's funny. There's always the one white person. It's always, they kind of look at shit. They always look at me like, what the fuck do you just do, bitch? It's like, just saying words, just making sounds, because that's all this is. All languages is just sounds. Sounds that we have agreed on that means this. It is, but it is what it is, because it's like people get fucking furious by it. They get fucking angry. But you don't see me getting upset. Every other fucking thing now is like Latino this, Latino that. It's like, if you want to help the Latino people, help get the fucking little kids out of the cages, you dick. That's how you could help us. Don't be like, hey, we like tacos too, dude. It doesn't mean shit to us. We're like, okay, like, duh. Like, who doesn't like tacos? Like, you're dipshit if you don't like tacos. I'm just saying, like, name me, show me a person who doesn't like tacos, and I'll show you a goddamn terrorist. So that's the truth. That is the truth. There's nothing truer than that. I'll wait. What else? What else do you have? I don't know. What else do we have to say? Give Dude Finger this week. Yeah, that's really what I'm doing with my life. Yeah. I can't believe I did that. Oh. Also, talking about white people. What's always funny is the white person who it's always the white girl. The white girl who is like, yeah, I went to I went to this foreign country, like, when I went there, like, I just felt like this vibe and this sense of feeling of like people. I'm like, yeah, it's called culture. It's crazy how like because your culture doesn't have that at all. It just refuses to put any flavor in their food. Like, I don't understand how you can make fried chicken and not put any flavor in it. But somehow my job finds a way to do that. We find a way to do it. It is fucking shocking every time. Every time. Nothing's worse than like biting into like fried chicken that has no seasoning in it. Nothing is worse. Nothing will ever be worse than that. Nothing. Well, guys, I have about a minute left. We talked a lot about dick and balls there for a minute, and that really I feel like pushed us through the last act of this podcast, or that pushes in, or maybe that's the beginning of the third act. But either way you look at it, we're here. We're finally we're at our destinations 30 minutes later. I hope you guys are doing well. Do well. Have a good week. Be safe. Wash your hands. Look both ways. Don't let the bed bugs bite, because that shit would suck. That shit sucks. I've never had bed bugs, but if I did, it would suck. Everybody who's ever had bed bugs, they've told me that it sucked. I think this hoodie's too small for me. All right, I'll see you guys on the next episode. All right, bye.